Hi, gentlemen. This is yet another episode of the Linda Ogono Political Show. In this show, we train women about politics and the political processes in Kenya. We hope to achieve an increase in the number of women participating in politics. And for those who are participating as candidates, those who are vying for seats, we also purpose to increase the number of the ones who are winning elections. Today, we'd like to look at the requirements to be an MCA. An MCA is also known as Member of County Assembly and represents a ward within a county assembly of a particular county. There are 47 counties within Kenya today, and there are 1,450 MCA positions. So at this juncture, we're assuming that you've gone through your why. As we had captured in our previous episode, you have looked at the reasons why you are vying for that particular post, and you have settled for that post and that ward. Alright, if you haven't, please look at that episode. So one of the requirements for you to vie as an MCA is you need to be a registered voter. And preferably you need to be a registered voter in the ward where you are going to vie. Ladies, it is important that you should guarantee yourself your one vote. So please make sure you are registered as a voter in the ward where you want to vie. In case currently you are registered as a voter in another ward, go to IEBC and see into it that you have transferred to now the ward that you have identified. The next requirement is you need to be a Kenyan citizen at least 10 years before the date of elections. You shouldn't also swear allegiance to a foreign state, and then you shouldn't also have dual citizenship. But in the event that your dual citizenship is one that cannot be changed by law, then they can look into it on an exceptional basis. You should be a Kenyan of sound mind, okay? You shouldn't have been declared bankrupt. So what does it mean for you to be bankrupt? A person who is bankrupt is a person who is unable to pay their debts. See into it that you don't fall into that category. The other requirement for you to be legible is you should have resigned, or you shouldn't be holding office should you be a state officer. The exact date for the deadline of resigning is set by the IEBC. IEBC stands for Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. So they do set the deadline for the date that you should have resigned. Please make sure you abide by this, but if you can resign earlier, it will give you more time so that you can start your campaigns early and get to acclimatize yourself with the voters in the area where you're going to vie. There is an exception to this requirement for those who are currently serving term as MCAs. They're allowed to continue until the time that IEBC also says that now they can't, and they can now get into the political space and vie as candidates. The other requirement is you can vie in Kenya either as an independent candidate, or you can vie representing a political party. So if you're vying through the political party, you should have had the political party certificate. That means you had won the election through the party primaries, or they have given you its certificate either directly or through other means. We will have an episode where we'll discuss all these means by which party primaries actually do handle their elections and give a certificate to the candidate. So you should have that certificate. If you're vying as an independent candidate, we're also going to look at that and the requirements that you need to have. But please be sure, are you going to vie representing a political party, or are you going to vie as an independent candidate? Again, you should be a person who's not serving term, or is not having a criminal you're not in prison 6 months before election date. This should also factor in the room for appeal. But all those things should be done at least before 6 months for you to be a credible candidate. Okay? Also, you shouldn't have worked for IEBC at least in the 5 years before the election date. That's a requirement for IEBC. Again, you should be a person who's of good standing, ethical and moral standing, as far as or aligned to the Integrity and Leadership Act. If you have not gone through this act, kindly, ladies, find this act and go through it. It can be found online, but in case you have a challenge, just go to the comment section. We will leave you a link where you are able to access it so that you equip yourself with that which is required. You shouldn't also have contravened Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya. By this I mean you shouldn't have abused office to the extent where you were removed from office. Okay? You shouldn't have been found to contravene Article 75, 76, 77, and 78 of the Constitution of Kenya. You shouldn't have been impeached and removed out of office through that process. Okay? So, should you go through all this and you're legible and you're okay, you're good to go, you will have to write a banker's check to IEBC. If you're a woman, the requirement is 2,500 as I'm speaking currently, and that is to encourage more women to vie. If you don't know what a banker's check is, just walk into any bank and request the bank that you'd want an a banker's check, and you will be able to be assisted. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially to you ladies, out of the 1,450 MCA positions that we currently have in Kenya, only 115 is occupied by women. If we look at the numbers of women under 35, only 14 currently are MCAs in Kenya. These numbers are dire. These numbers are wanting. These numbers require urgent action. I want to ask you to kindly share this channel with your friends so that together we are able to have information that will help us change these numbers. In the coming elections, these statistics should not remain as so. And we can only be able to change it if you and I combine forces to make it better. Thank you once again for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye.